What's up, everybody? This is the Whiskey and Wings podcast. I'm Brad. He's Zach, and we're back.
We are.
It's what is today's date?
16th, 17th?
February.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, February 17th, 2022.
Yes.
What's going on? The Olympics. We're thick in the end of the Olympics.
Yeah. We only have a couple more days.
I think Sunday it wraps up.
Okay. And the U.S. isn't doing so good.
No, we're all right in a medal hunt. I think we're like 4th or 5th. But like all our big names shit the bed.
That's what we were just talking about. Michaela Schifrin? I don't know how you pronounce her last name. But did she even finish a run this year so far?
The individuals, no. She did not finish or got disqualified from every individual event that she was in.
And last night it was kind of annoying me because the announcers kept talking about how she's the best skier in the world.
Right.
But she can't finish an event.
No.
I don't get that. I'm sorry. I don't get that. How do you get that?
The same was, what was the other one they were talking about? I can't remember. But it was just like constant. I get it, you know. Oh, I know what it is. It's the female bobsledder and the two-person bobsled, the black chick that was on quarantine and couldn't train. Like
okay.
she was actually
I missed all this.
Touted as like one of our big contenders, and I think they did win.
In bobsledding?
Yeah, I think they did win at least silver. But anyway,
yeah,
she had a kid recently, and I can't believe I can't remember the kid's name because they mentioned it every 5 seconds. It's like a weird name, not a weird name, but it's like a name you wouldn't forget. It's not like Bob, but it was like, I don't know, like Noah or something like that. But like Noah's watching at home, or she had a little like animated drawing of a little kid on the heel of her shoe, you know, because the camera always zooms into their shoes, especially the back one when they're pushing off. So, there's I forget the kid's name.
But anyway, they just kept hammering
constant. Like she's the only athlete ever in the history of athletics to have a child.
I wonder where they get the announcers for the Olympics.
NBC.
Is it just? But who are the people? Because they know like way too much about these specific.
Well, they're
sports.
former athletes. A lot of them, like the color commentators, are all former athletes in that field.
Because they're not very good in the Olympics. Have you noticed that? I zone them out. Like, you're always telling me what they're actually talking about.
I noticed, like, the ski, like, the high-action ski events, like the slope style and all that.
Yeah.
And the half-pipe stuff, snowboarding and all that. Whoever that dude was in that sport.
Yeah.
And he's about 3 seconds late on anything dramatic. Like, when he gets real dramatic with his voice, it's like 3 seconds too late. Like, it already happened. Like, the person
way behind.
wrecked.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you see that? Like, and I don't know if there's a delay. Maybe there's a delay with the broadcast.
With where they?
Right.
I wonder, are they over there? I wonder with COVID, they're actually there watching it live.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're like. You never see like booths around those slopes. Like, are they announcing?
No,
it
that's
there?
what I'm saying. I never know where they're at.
Watching it from like a sound studio and just
No, this Olympics overall, what have you thought so far? Has it been pretty enjoyable?
I have watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It doesn't have as many taglines. Like, sure, like the Michaela Schifrin and what's her name, the snowboarder.
I don't know.
Or Nathan Chen.
He did win though. He did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, correct. He lived up to the hype. But the rest of them,
no,
nothing.
Kind of carried over from the summer.
Oh, what's her name?
Olympics.
The snowboarder. I mean,
the only snowboarder I know is that Gu. But she's Chinese.
No, Kim is her last name. She's Asian too.
But she's
like
USA.
The top. Yeah, she was undeniable.
But she hasn't done anything.
No, she won. She won gold.
Oh, she did win gold. Okay.
Yeah.
But now the Winter Olympics, do we normally win like the medal account?
We fare like what we win at. We continuously win at hockey.
But we sucked this year. Yeah. In curling, we've sucked this year too, right? You said we lost.
We were up there,
night.
but we lost I think they lost the gold last night.
I definitely
and I think
enjoyed this.
You're talking the dude with the long hair team.
Yeah,
I think he's the one. Yeah, that team I think lost.
Okay.
But I don't know how a female like the women's curling is.
I watched them last Saturday.
We won like a speed skating event. I noticed today. I was watching it. I think it's going to air tonight with the real hot Dutch chick.
Oh, that speed skating event's tonight, like on the prime time?
Yeah, I think that's on prime. I watched it live this morning. So they had the medal ceremony and everything. So
it's kind of weird how that they show this stuff, but then in prime time,
yeah, especially the indoor events that are all like the skating and the speed skating and the figure skating and all that. Mm-hmm. That all takes place in the evenings in Beijing, which is our morning. I think they're...
So then do they kind of cut it and just make it for prime time later in the evening?
Right.
Okay.
But they're putting something on live TV. So if you watch at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, it's the live event. And then if you're watching prime time, you're watching the exact same stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that's the bad thing. Like, fortunately, prime time, there's usually at least 2 or 3 networks carrying it.
Yeah.
So...
They do a good job. The primetime coverage, whatever, it's like 8 to 11 or 8 to midnight. They do a really good job of, like, they show the interesting sports to watch. Because there's been a lot of the, like, I've seen on the auxiliary channels.
You're not watching 2 hours of curling from 8 to 10.
No. Or there will be, like, the speed, it's not speed skating, like long distance skating, where they're just going like this, and it's like 25 laps, and it takes like a half hour. I had that on the one night my mom came over to watch it, and we're like, holy fuck, this person's still going? And then we see it down at the bottom, it's this Swedish person, and they set the world record for how fast it was, but it was still like 16 minutes or some shit. It's like, that's just boring, because they got so far ahead of the other person, too, that it's like, all right, we're just watching some guy go like
Cross country's never going to be in prime time.
No,
they'll show like biathlon, the short biathlons, because those are the ones, they wrap those up. I forget the distance. It might only be like a 6K biathlon.
Okay.
So I think they showed those early on.
Yeah, but those long distance ones. But I do have a new favorite event at the Winter Olympics. It's the mixed combined snowboard. I don't know exactly what it was called, but it was the snowboard relay where the men went and then the women started.
Slopestyle relay.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So basically, the men would go down. It was 4-person race, and they had jumps and turns and all this stuff on a snowboard. And then how they finished, the women were delayed out of the gate by that where they finished.
Right.
That was awesome to watch because it's short, but and there was like wrecks and shit. Like, it was cool to watch. Yeah. That was definitely my favorite, and the USA won that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
to watch.
The old guy and the young chick.
Yeah, combined age is 76.
Yeah, we didn't have many big victories like we do like in the Summer Olympics, but it was still fun. Like, I just enjoy it. Like, I get wrapped up even if it's like a Swedish person. If they're doing something cool, it's fun to watch. I like it because a lot of you're not exposed to it. Like
you won't watch.
Anybody can run around a track. Like, that's an inherent ability. But to be able to do anything in a Winter Olympics isn't.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, I'm a skier and I can go down, but I couldn't fathom going down like the Super G.
That's like straight down.
Right. Yeah. Or like I was watching it's whatever the skate and snowboarders guy, I forget what it's called. It's the acrobatic one where it's just one single jump. It's like super steep.
Yeah.
And it goes, it's right next to the bobsled, the sliding track. And it just goes off one thing and they do their thing. Yeah. Like, I couldn't even get to the ramp at the bottom without dying, I don't think.
Yeah. My mom and I were watching also the long, like the skiing long jump where they don't even have poles. They just like, they go off of it and they're like leaning.
Ski jumps, yeah.
We were talking like, how do you even begin to start training for that?
Well,
like
first
time.
They talk about that. There's so much family lineage in those events because that's how you get in it. Your uncle was a ski jumper from Denmark, and you grew up, went over, probably lived near an old Olympic park that had a ski jump. And so you get into it because it's the family tradition. There's a lot of, what do they call that? Like legacy athletes in those events.
The guy, the one USA guy was on there that won like silver or something. His mom won gold in like the 72 Olympics or something. So I guess to me that stuff's just amazing because like, how are you? They're jumping like 100 meters.
But they're just hovering like 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah, but still scary.
They're dropping, but they have that figured out where the slope is the exact glide angle that they would come.
Well, I thought it was interesting for that event. They said you actually want the wind in your face because it picks you up, and if the wind is going,
tailwind will push you down.
Yeah, so they have a like an algorithm exactly for that, where right as the person's going off, they're measuring the wind and then they adjust
The
the
start
distances.
position.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if it's too much of a tailwind, they'll move them up a notch or two on the start.
Yeah. Now how
Until
do
it
they-
gets too dangerous, because if they move them up too much, and they go off and the wind stops, or they start getting a headwind, they could actually get injured doing that. So they err on. I'm sure the ratio is big. You know, like narrow. I would say like they err on the side of caution.
What the rabbit hole I kind of went down with that is I wonder when that started. When did technology advance enough?
I think they always knew that.
You think so?
Yeah, there's always been different.
But like in 1972, did they have?
No,
But that's what I'm saying. So
no.
like how many
But in
gold
1972,
medals?
they weren't doing 112 feet.
So so it might
the
not
technology
have mattered
all
as much.
around wasn't right.
I was just wondering.
They were on wooden planks and
Yeah.
just rolling.
But to me, I was just wondering how many golds and silvers were decided not based on the athlete, but just because of the wind. You know what I mean?
Probably a lot.
But that's kind of interesting. Like,
Well, that's what makes the athlete adjusting to the environment.
yeah,
You know.
but it's cool. But it like just two athletes had the exact same run and everything, but one had a tailwind and one had a headwind.
Right.
And it's like looking back now, they account for that stuff, but back 20, 30 years ago, they didn't. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I don't know in the scoring maybe there is an account for that. I'm not sure, you know, because
Yeah.
there's the distance, but then there's also everything else, and maybe there is.
No,
a
that's what I
factor.
was saying. They'll give you plus 1.5 meters or minus 1.5 meters. They'll give you all that stuff based on that calculation. So, but I just thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, so that's wrapping up. We are an Olympics podcast. We're gonna have to go a couple years now without an Olympics.
Right. Well, we could do preambles for the upcoming Summer Olympics, the favorites, everything. We were just fortunate to get a summer winter back to back.
Back to back,
Like
the
months
closest.
apart.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't ever really see that again unless there's another pandemic, I guess.
Right.
For
Or
sure.
some other horrible event that delays it. I don't even know where the next Winter Olympics is.
No, I
Oh.
didn't. Is LA the next Summer Olympics?
No, the next summer is in Paris. I know that. The
Really?
next winter is in Milan, Italy. That's where the next Winter Olympics is. I didn't know Milan was known for their mountains, but it could be based out of Milan, just like this. Those ski slopes and everything are so far away from Beijing.
They're not actually even in Beijing,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
what-
you look at the map and, you know, China's a big country. And
Yeah.
when you see Beijing and the dots way up here, like they're isolated.
How cool. I mean, I thought it was funny, but a lot of people online didn't think it was cool that there was the one big jump was right next to those two like power,
Oh, that's the one I was talking about where they do the
yeah,
cooling towers.
The cooling towers.
Yeah.
But they're like, this is fucking China for you. And I was like, I just think they just stuck it where they had room.
Right.
Like, what does it matter? But people were upset about that one.
Why?
I don't know.
They put Olympic rings up on it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't get it, but they were. Yeah, I just know online people were upset about it. To me, I
The
just
weird
thought it
thing
was
would be is if those cooling towers were like for some secret nuclear weapons project. They're like, you know, developing uranium for nuclear weapons, and they basically broadcasted it for 2 weeks to the world. But I think those are decommissioned towers anyway, and you know, anywho.
It was a strange sight, but
It
yeah,
is.
It made
Yeah, it's
for
like,
a cool background.
Yeah, you see like this industrial background, but that's what China is known for. Like
Yeah.
they were an industrial country.
We had the Super
That's where we ship all our stuff over to be, you know,
Made in
built.
China. Yeah,
So
made in China.
they have to have industry.
Yeah,
All in all, it's been a good Olympics. You know,
yeah.
like, I still watch it every day, so it's not like I'm bored with it.
I do too. Like every night, to me, it comes down to I want to watch like whatever NBA game's on, or do I want to watch the Olympics? And the Olympics wins every time because I'm like, well, I'm not going to watch figure skating for another 4 years.
Right.
So might as well watch this now because.
Yeah, even if it's a day, like I'm not a big figure skating fan,
Mhm.
but I'll watch it because it's only going to be on a couple times.
Yeah, and the speed skating is really cool
Yeah.
when they're flying into the. I did not realize how
the
cool
sheer
that
like
was.
the fact that they have knives on their feet and they wreck a lot. And
Yeah.
you're inches away from a jugular.
Yeah, all the time. And to me, those really fast relays, I think it's just about surviving as much as it is about
Position,
speed.
positions and because a lot of except for that final straightaway,
Yeah.
they really don't tear it on. You know, they may if you're in the lead, they may like gain a little bit in the down stretch or the back stretch, but you know, turn 3, turn 4, you're praying, you're crossing your fingers. Turn 4 or. I can't believe people haven't lost their fingers in those turns when they all put their hand down.
Yeah, they have those gloves that they like literally.
But I think
touch.
those gloves are just like there's like little balls on the end of them, just so they slide better on the ice. I don't think there's any protection in those gloves. I don't know. Maybe there is, but I mean, has anyone ever lost a finger? Even when you're going and somebody starts sliding across and their feet are out straight, they can catch your hand
it's right there. Yeah, it's really cool to watch.
It is.
Yeah, it's been
and
a good
I won't
time.
think about it again for another.
That's like the best thing about the Olympics, I think. It's like you get really. And what's funny is now, 4 years ago when the USA was doing really good in curling, I knew all the stuff because I was watching it. Now I went to watch it the other day and I'm like, I don't even remember what the thing. Yeah, none of that knowledge has stuck with me at all. So you get to learn.
And everybody, like curling clubs around the country right now, it'll skyrocket. A buddy of mine was just curling last weekend with a work thing out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and they'll go through the roof. It's like gyms in January, through the roof, and then by the end of this curling season, next year, nothing, nothing, and then people get into it. I do watch, I get pumped up around nationals, like on the Olympic Channel and stuff like that. They run, like, the national events and stuff like that. I'll catch that sometimes and say, I'll see what's going on. But you never know what it is.
They just don't have the storylines,
right?
Exactly. That the Olympics
they're just
do.
weeding each other out. You're getting some scrub in there, and you're, but...
the only other big thing that the Super Bowl happened.
Super Bowl. Yeah, it was commercials were. I mean, the game was all right. The game was a good game. At least it wasn't a blowout, and it could have went either way.
Yeah, there was a lot of narrative around it that people just didn't feel like it was the hype level around it. They said even the announcers were just kind of meh.
Well, I think they were just two teams that weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl. I mean, L.A. more than
L.A. Yeah, they could have been.
It wasn't the
Cincinnati
big names.
was like. Where the fuck they come
It isn't.
from.
Everybody's used to a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers.
Well, for the last 18 years, it's been Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, the 49ers.
Right.
So, I think...
Mainly Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady. Yeah,
rather.
mainly Tom Brady. But, hey, those other guys are in there.
Yeah, they speckle in there.
Yeah.
But, all in all, it was good. The commercials were okay. I mean, there really wasn't much hype up about the commercials this year either.
No. And
there were a few good ones.
I had like a Super Bowl party at my house, and I had too many friends over where I felt I didn't really get to enjoy much of the game and stuff. Too much distraction. I think I'm going to dial that back next year because I always like actually watching all that stuff. I really did. I saw one commercial, the Larry David commercial. That was it.
I can't even. I never remember what the new commercials are.
Sometimes there's been years where you could.
The Soprano one with the Cadillac, the electric Cadillac.
Okay. There's someone about Zeus for electric.
Oh, the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And Selma Hayek one, yeah. It was all right.
The halftime show, what'd you think?
I didn't mind it. Supposedly it was the biggest watched halftime show in recent history.
Really?
Yeah, like last year's was 90 some million people watched it.
Yeah.
And this year was like 115 or 105 or something like that. I don't know where they get those numbers, but that's what they were.
I never know how are those numbers even accurate at all? Because how do you account for
it? They base it on a certain, like those Nielsen ratings, they probably base it on something like that and then multiply it.
Yeah, because like I had 15 people at my house. So but there was only one TV with So to me
there's a multiplier probably.
Okay. But it was
especially with streaming and everything else. How do they know who's watching it?
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it though. The halftime show was pretty good. I didn't watch. I mean, it was on. I was kind of talking to people. The game was fun. Now it's just depression mode for me. I gotta go.
Man, it's the height of hockey season now. The real hockey season starts.
Have you been watching hockey at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sid, big Penguin fan, and Crosby just scored his 500th goal this week. So
I saw that everybody was talking about that.
So that was a big.
Were you watching that live?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I honestly didn't even know he was close. So it was his 500th goal.
Yeah.
So is that like high up there on the list?
I forget how many NHLers have 500 goals in history. I mean, it's a lot. It's probably like in the 30s or something like that. But it's pretty, pretty substantial. Guy like Ovechkin, who's only known for goal scoring, he's like in the 700s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Lemieux. I forget what Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. Obviously, is probably 900 or maybe even 1,000. I'm not even sure what he is.
So Crosby's not really known.
Modern day players, like I think Ovechkin might be the only one of currently that has a chance or could even think about matching Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, really?
Two different eras of hockey.
Did people score more now or less now?
Less now.
Really?
The goalie pads are bigger. Just the talent level's bigger because it's, you start putting more money into a sport. Back then, Wayne Gretzky made the most, but everybody else was probably making a couple $100,000 a year, back in the 80s and those eras. So with that comes better talent, better equipment, but so goalies are bigger, their equipment's bigger. I think the nets are smaller than they were back then, and the game's just, it was a scorers league back in the day.
Which is funny because you would think, like, the NBA has gone in the opposite direction.
They want more scoring.
They want more scoring.
Well, the talent level has increased, so they had to do something because there were 7 to 9 games, or I should say 9 to 7 games, stuff like that. So they adjusted that way.
Wouldn't that be more exciting to watch? Like, honestly, though, if you were watching a 7 to 9 game?
For a novice hockey fan, yes. I would think, because it's scoring, but
that's
it
what
slows the
they
game
with
down.
baseball.
Scoring slows the game down. Every time there's a goal, everything resets. You start back at,
Yeah. I just wonder, that's interesting. So I thought, I just know Crosby, like the Pittsburgh Penguins. I thought he was known for scoring goals, and that's not really.
Well, he was, but he's also, 35 years old, 36 years old now. He's coming on the era of Brady. Like, he's coming to the end of his career. He may play until his 40s, but he's such an all-around player that he doesn't have to score everything. Like, he has a guy on his team that he feeds constantly. His two line mates, are leading the league in goals. Like, they're up there because of him, because he's feeding them and he takes the pressure off of them. He's along the boards. He's digging and grinding and keeping the pucks alive.
Kind of like a facilitator, almost. Like, he's
all around. He might be the first one back on defense too.
Okay.
So he's the total package. You got like guys like Connor McDavid up in Edmonton, who they call McJesus.
Yeah.
Who scores like crazy. But he doesn't do all the things that Sid does. He may develop better into that.
Yeah.
His team also sucks. Their organization sucks. Their management sucks. They're just horrible. Mm-hmm. I think they're on their 5th GM in 6 years.
Okay.
And head coach, it's just, I only know all this because my brother lives in Edmonton, so he's like wishy-washy. Like, when McDavid's good, he's a big McDavid fan. But normally the team sucks, and then he goes back to the Penguins. So.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's also like that with his college football. Since he went to Penn State, Ohio State, all of them, he
just
whoever's doing better, that's what alma mater he chooses. So
I should have done that. I should have gotten my master's somewhere else.
And all the Big Ten.
Yeah. Just all the
Maybe
Big Ten.
Maybe an SEC team, too, just in case.
Yeah, Bama.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
No,
it's not hard to get in.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, what else?
Oh, you're heading out west.
Yeah. We may have some surprise podcast guests. I might be doing some podcasts solo. I'm heading out west to Utah next week on a ski trip with a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Figured I'd take all the equipment, maybe record a podcast or two with one of the fellows or two, and get some different perspective, or at least get some scenery in a podcast.
Yeah, at the very least have a cool background.
Right. So might try to get that out. If I do, I'll try to get that posted as soon as I can. I'll take all the stuff with me.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Talk about what it's like out there.
Yeah. Then we'll get back and we'll get to it. Maybe we'll start arranging some guests on the podcast.
Yeah, we haven't had any.
Never had a guest.
No. We had the producer for the first episode, and then he up and fucking moved away.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, we fired him. He really wasn't very good at producing.
Yeah, he didn't do much.
Right.
Yeah, but it will be a couple weeks because you're going out west and I'm going to Connecticut, so it'll be a couple weeks before you and I are recording again.
Right. Like I said, I'll try to post from out there.
Mm-hmm. So. That's exciting.
Yep. So until then, we'll catch you later.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Peace out, guys.
Later.